Welcome to the Maritime Vision podcast. I'm your host, Tue Rossell. In each episode, we bring you exclusive interviews with maritime professionals, industry experts, and students. Our guests come from different backgrounds, including shipping, yachting, offshore, and more. Our goal is to give you all the knowledge you need to succeed in the maritime industry. Welcome everyone, welcome back to a new podcast episode. Today we have two special guests with us. We have Tue Rossell and Landry Holi. Tue is the CEO of Konsius App and has over 10 years of experience in the crew management. And Landry Holi is the CEO of Firefighting and he is an expert in digital solutions for the travel and transportation industry. In the first part of this episode, we are going to talk about crew management. And in the second part of the episode, we're going to talk more about the tech side on digital solution in this field with Tue and Landry. So a warm welcome to everyone. It's great to have you here. Tue, could you tell us a little bit about your background in the maritime industry, please?
Thanks for having me, Paul. Well, I've been in the industry for around, I think almost 15 years now. Started out in crew management, and I've been working in that area more or less ever since, having various positions, operational, more strategical, senior level as well, commercial roles and so on. So I've been in various areas in this field, working for managers as well as ship owners. So I've seen many things in this industry for now.
Interesting. So why did you choose the maritime industry?
I mean, it's for me, it's very fascinating. I like the international environment. I mean, I enjoy the cultural aspects of it. I like meeting people. I like traveling is a part of it as well.
Yeah.
But I think what really triggered me was the international part of it, doing business with other nationalities, cultures. That's the essence for me.
That's good to know. And I want to ask you this question. Can you introduce like crew management? Because you worked in crew management. So for people who don't know what is it exactly, because we have ship management, which is very wide, but crew management, it's a part of it. So can you tell us a little bit about it, please?
Yeah, very, very simple explain. The crew management is making sure that there are crew on board the vessels. So we have people sailing the vessel. And that's very, very basic explained because there's so many aspects of it. You can also call it marine HR, taking care of the human resources, recruitment is a part of it, career development, another part, and then you have all the logistics, making sure that you actually have people on board, the right time, the right place, and so on. So there's lots to it, but I think that maybe a better expression would be marine HR.
Okay. So what kind of tasks do you need to conduct? I mean, because you need to pay the crew, you need to hire the crew. Can you tell us a little bit about every task we have in this field?
Oh, there's a lot. There's a lot. I mean, making sure that the crews are competent, first of all, qualified and competent. That you have the right skills on board the vessels, that you are in compliance with various regulations, flag states, etc., client requirements. So, I mean, it's really, taking care of every aspect related to human beings. There's also a lot of welfare in this area, making sure that people are all right. talking to their families when they very often their husbands, sons are away. Of course, today it's much easier with internet and easy access to that. But in many cases, the crew manager is also the link to the vessels, to the company.
So I imagine you have many challenge in this job because I worked as a yacht manager and I know that the crew management was one of the most complicated tasks because
Yeah.
first of all the visa process it can be very complicated. So can you tell us a little bit about the biggest challenge you have as a crew manager?
I mean, the biggest challenge is the lack of competent crew. I mean, you simply don't have sufficient uh, uh, qualified and competent crew for the merchant fleet. So that is a huge challenge. More practical challenges. Yeah, getting people in and out various countries, the visa process. Also, you see, whenever there is something going on in the world, it has an impact
Mm.
on the ability to cross borders. Various nationalities can having difficulties in obtaining certain visas and so on. So that's operational challenge. But I see from more high level, it's really the the lack of people, competent and qualified people.
Oh yes, new crew members can be very complicated. So did you work in your career in the shipping, more in the shipping side, or did you work as well in yachting?
Only no, I haven't been involved in yachts. Only in the merchant fleet,
Okay,
and offshore as well.
offshore as well. Okay.
Yeah.
On for example, so we know that we have different kind of vessels. We have, of course, the cargos, container vessels, dry bulk, cruising vessels. Is it different when you speak one kind of vessel, or it's always the same job?
Yeah, indeed. I mean, different vessels, different competences, especially when you have tanker vessels where you are where the cargo can be dangerous. You need certain certification for that. Also, the onboard operation is a bit more complex compared to a dry bulk, a dry carrier, a bulk vessel.
Mm.
So yes, indeed, there's different challenges on different vessels.
Okay, interesting. What kind of advice can you give, for example, to someone who wants to start as crew manager? Do we need to have experience at sea, or you can learn everything in the field?
I would say you can learn it because I don't have a seafarer background myself. You can definitely learn it, and I think it's important to get the right, what you say, the right mix of people in the office for in the crew management office. So you both have people with the seafarer background as well as yeah, it could be a more academic background. But indeed, you can start with more or less any background.
Okay. On what kind of skills is very important? I imagine human relationship, all this. Yeah, what kind of skills you need to have in order to be a good
Yeah.
crew manager?
You have to be able to stay calm.
Oh,
I mean, it can be quite hectic. Um, yeah, stay calm is definitely a key word here. You'll have to handle uncertain or situation coming up all the time. When I started out my career in crew management, I took over from a very senior guy. He has been working in crew management for I think, almost 50 years. And he said, I mean, every day I go to work, I learn something new. Um,
Mm.
so you never know what's going to hit you.
Okay.
So
Okay.
that's an exciting part of it as well.
Okay, very interesting. So I've seen your company. You are doing like ship crew planning. Can you
Crew
explain what
planning.
is it crew planning, because it's a part of crew management?
Indeed, it is. Well, yeah, I mean, it's basically preparing a roster. I mean, you need to have a certain people on board the vessel. They need to have certain qualification and competences. And compared to an onshore job, you also need to get home and have you of course you also need that in an onshore position. But when you're a seafaring officer, you are also living on board, of course. So you need to go back on vacation. You can't stay there year round. So preparing that plan, so making sure that when you on board, you have a reliever. You also know when you're getting back on board next time. It could be on a different vessel. Um,
Mm.
so having that's roster or schedule is what we are doing.
Okay, so it's
It
scheduling.
sounds very pardon.
It's scheduling the crew agenda, I can say. Yeah.
Correct, correct. And I mean, it sounds very, very easy. I mean, if you're from the outside and you don't know much about it, you just consider, okay, you need a captain on a captain position on that vessel, and when he's due for relief, you just take another one and place him on board. And yes, that is correct. But if you take into all the various aspects, elements into this, it's becoming extremely complex. There's a lot of different requirements, as I mentioned, industry requirement, client requirements, flag state requirements, personal interests, etc., etc. And when you combine that, the complexity is becoming sky high and actually beyond the human capacity. So that's why, and the reason why we decided to make this tool, um, to make it, to give the crew managers, the crew planners, a tool where they actually have the capability of preparing such a plan, a crew plan.
Okay. Okay. I want to ask you this question because you have many experience, a lot of experience in this field. Do you have anecdotes, stories to share to the audience?
About the crewing
Yeah, or
or
it can be anything in the within the maritime industry. Your experience?
Uh, I don't have something in top of mind, but I can tell you. I mean, there's never a dull moment. There's something happening all the time. Of course, funny things that are happening. Of course, some very serious events on board vessels. Um, Accidents, incidents, worst case, people are dying. Uh, we also had some experience with the people getting hijacked, pirates, and so on. So that is the dark side of it. But again, that's something you have to deal with. Uh, you also have all the bright moments where I mean you're getting very close to people because you talk to them a lot. You get to know their family. You also have a good insight in I mean their family, because okay, I can't join the vessel because I'm getting married, I'm getting a child. So you really you get close to people as well. But any anecdote, I mean, I don't have something in top of mind right now, but
Maybe it will
I'll
come
let you
back.
know.
So I want now to ask you a last question for the first part. I have
Yeah,
many. It's like crew management is like ship management. We have a big lack of people. It's very complicated to hire new people, especially
yeah,
young people. I would like to ask you, make advertising of your job. I mean, try to how can I say, to to explain why crew management you can make very interesting career in this field, and advice for young people who want to start as crew manager.
yeah. I think I mentioned it in the very beginning. It's really a fantastic area to work in. You meet a lot of people. It's international. You meet a lot of new cultures. You 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 travel all over the world, to offices, conferences. Recruiting all over the world. You see something that you will never see if you were just a tourist. You go to places that you will never come as a tourist. Um, it's really, yeah. I enjoy it a lot, and I will never leave this business. It's simply too exciting, and 2 days are never the same. It's something new all the time.
Okay. Okay, very good
So
to know.
just go for it. Just go for it.
Nice. Landry, do you have some questions regarding the crew management side?
Yes, so hello to and great meeting you again. It's been I went on your website and I was very excited when I saw what you were building with Conscious.
Yeah,
It's
thanks.
really at the heart of what we are focusing in Fairval, which is really how to create more value using data, digital solution, and this within the travel and transportation industry. So I was really excited. And um, following this first part of this podcast, I wanted to ask you more focusing on that solution unconscious,
Mm.
more specifically the problem you're solving. And in that way, what I'm aiming at is really to understand, or maybe you could paint actually, what is the life of a crew manager when he's not using your solution,
Yeah.
and then we could, move how it works when he's using your solution, so that we
Yeah.
see task by task the hurdle you're taking out, thanks to this.
Yeah, we are actually we are making the puzzle. The conscious crew planner is making the puzzle for the crew planner, the crew manager. Um, I mean, as I mentioned, it's extremely complex exercise to do that. Um, and it's a fact that actually no crew manager, no crew planners are making a plan today.
Hmm.
They are basically just firefighting, um, because it's so hectic and the world is changing all the time. So it's so time consuming, and they need to put so many energy in trying to make a plan that they simply don't do it. And then it becomes firefighting. You will only plan for the next assignment, which is probably only a few weeks ahead, few days ahead, and then all your focus will be there. With our tool, we actually do the planning for them. We make the best possible plan based on the vessels that you manage, and also the crew, the pool of crew that you have. And we will then prepare the best plan. We recognize that the plan will change
Hmm.
more or less immediately after you have pushed the button and the puzzle has been done. but then we just push the button again, and a new plan will be created. And maybe, I mean, it's not the entire plan that will change all the time, but you have the ability to with live data to always have the best possible scenario in front of you. And the reason why we do that is so you actually can make the best possible decision.
Right. And just to understand, so when your tool is working, the data it's getting in, it's using is data. You were mentioning before that a crew has his objective, he has some constraints. Where do you get the data? Is it the crew members that enter part of the data and you reconcile with other types of data?
I mean, we could actually have automated the entire process,
Mm-hmm.
but we have decided not to. Also, also taking all the input into consideration that we have received during the process of developing it. The reason for that is that, I mean, this is human beings, and especially for seafarers, the personal relationship is extremely important. So having the dialogue with them, instead of they having some kind of app where they enter all the data,
Okay.
it's much better. So what we do, we have all the basic data that we already have in the existing crewing ERP system, crew management system. We pull out that data, and then when we talk to people, we are capturing that data as well.
Okay.
So we get all data which is required enable for us to actually being able to create the best plan.
Right.
Right.
And when I was reading on your website, what also struck me was that you were trying to have a first top-down approach in the sense of looking at the objective of the company. I mean, to maximize the objective of the company.
Yes.
So do you actually can you kind of your algorithm, is it kind of optimizing according to some kind of business goals, like reduce costs on that
Yeah.
aspect? And so can you just maybe illustrate it with a couple of examples?
Yes, I can because what I actually want to do to have a crew plan like you're having a financial budget. And the reason why I compared with that, the reason why every company, more or less in the world, they have a financial budget is so it can support the strategic objectives in the company. And I want the crew plan to do the same. And we are able to do that with the crew planner. So let's say that your company objective or strategic goal for the company is to reduce the costs. Then I can ask the algorithm to focus on that and prepare the plan based on that goal.
Okay.
So actually, depending on which goal you want to achieve, we adjust the algorithm to meet that goal.
Okay.
So actually going from a very operational mindset, operational. I mean, it's crewing is by fact very operational, but now we will actually also be able to be more strategic and be able to support the company's high level strategic goals.
Right. Okay. So if I were, because you were talking about the complexity and so on, and Polly was asking for an anecdote. Um, do you have in mind an example of, a crew management team or not using any planning, not doing any planning, and where a situation occurred which was, either going completely against the those goals of the companies, or it was kind of a chaos or something like, if they had that, they would have avoided such a not humorous situation, but maybe even sometimes dramatic situation, actually.
I mean, I think that the overall objective for a crew manager or crew management is basically just to have people on board the vessels.
Mm.
And because they don't have any tool to support them, I mean that becomes the objective. I mean that's basically the purpose why they're here. Um, so yeah,
Was there a case where actually the captain was not on board for some reason?
no, that very rarely happens. But I mean, again, it becomes it's extremely operational, and it's firefighting mode all the time, making sure that you have the next person on board. Yeah.
And do you have some cases where actually you have a certain type of person who needs to be on board, but because the ship, the vessel will be at some place, there might be some visa or
Yeah.
whatever situation to bring. So does that constraint, can this type of constraint be factored in your software?
Indeed, yeah, indeed. I mean, we can. I mean, competences, visa, qualifications can be factored in as elements.
Okay, with the itinerary. So that's quite interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I'm looking at the thinking backwards. Um, so the solution has been on the market recently. Where are you concretely in the maturity stage of your solution?
I mean, we have recently launched our first MVP, and
Okay.
it's right now soft launched it, and is right now testing it. And we have assigned the next couple of months for doing that. And around 1st of Jan next year, we're going into live mode, so to say. Yeah.
Okay. And could you share, if that's possible, any um, return on experience or learnings you got from this first those first pilots, if I should speak in this way?
I mean, I think one thing is building some software, having a very good engine. But another thing is to having a UX, a front end which is very attractive to the users, and support the users' workflows. Um, but I think the most critical in making new software in this case, which is, I mean, there's nothing else on the market like this, is really making sure that it's implemented in the right way.
Right.
You can have the world's best software, but if it's not implemented and if the users are not using it, it's not. I mean, it's nothing worth.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, definitely. So, just putting back my hat because in Fairval we have two type of aspect: the solution aspect, and then the more financial part, which is the dark side of some
Yeah.
people. But it's not a dark side; it's an enabler actually. But if I put myself now in the shoe of an investor,
Yeah.
just for him to kind of understand what you're addressing. First question is your crew planning tool aiming to certain types of customer segments? What is really the target market there, and what is more or less the sizing or the opportunity, if I should speak in these terms?
I mean, I mean, we are going for yeah, every crew manager, because they are all having this problem, this pain. Crew manager, a crew management company, ship owners who is doing the operational themselves. Of course, we would like, where we make the biggest impact is the bigger the fleet is. So the larger the operation is, the more benefit they get out of our tool. So I would say, in order to gain the most out of our tool, you need to have a certain size.
Okay. And today your tool is, if I understood, an add-on to a existing crew management tool. So do you have
Yes.
plans to integrate with the major ones, or I mean, what's the action in that domain?
Yes, I mean, not necessarily integrate. To some extent, yes, we need the data in order to put it into our engine, to our algorithm, and then create the plans. But it could be any data point that we are using. Uh, we, but yes, most data that we need in our tool is coming from existing crew management ERP solutions.
Okay, okay. And so one of the things we just discussed before starting the podcast was I was mentioning that I had personal experience in the aviation sector where we were doing some similar, I mean, it's not at all the same domain, but kind of similar approach, which is a kind of a, optimizer for schedule recovering.
Yeah,
When you have your flight, which is there's disruption for any reason, you need to reshuffle your planes. You need to also make sure you get a slot to
yeah,
land a new, all those nice little constraint related problems. Um, but the issue we had was not only, I mean, the challenge was not only to design a good solution, was actually to get adoption
yeah.
from users who are, you know, they like to do things manually. So how do you see your tool being adopted, or going into the current mindset of your target users?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a valid point and valid concern. Um, I see what we are doing as a decision support tool. We are not automating everything in the entire world and in the process, in the value chain. I mean, we are here to support the crew manager or the crew planner. They have the final saying. Um, but we will tell them, okay, we recommend this solution. And if you decide to take a different path, we can show you the consequence of it. But it's your call at the end of the day, because there can't be something that in this algorithm, our engine, can't see. So you have the final call. But of course, if you moving the different direction as our tool all the time, I mean, then there is a problem. Uh, One thing could be that you simply don't trust the tool. Another thing could be that our algorithm, our engine needs to be adjusted and updated so it actually support your business, your workflows, and your objectives. But again, just to emphasize, we are creating a support tool, decision support tool. We are not here to take the crew planner and crew manager out of the out of the out of the team.
Yeah. And today the technology behind, is it, I mean, the approach, is it right to say that it's more what we call operational research, which is optimizing, it's not optimizing algorithm using a lot of constraints and,
Yeah.
and if you are also extending this with more AI type of technology?
Yeah, I mean, we consider ourselves as a decision science company, and whatever technology is required, we will adapt that. But our main engine is what you could call it, but is algorithm. An algorithm is I mean, is used in everything. It's going way back to the mathematics and so on. And then of course we are enhancing that with other technologies when and if required.
So I see. So the crew, I mean, a lot of people maybe are not too familiar, but with the Police podcast, people start to see the shipping is a huge industry, and the crew management is probably one of the biggest, like in aviation, by the way, a big area of cost, and so a big area to optimize. So if I'm a crew, if I'm managing a vessel and so on, and I want to use your tool, what is the business model around it? How do you see that in the future? As I know you're piloting at the moment, but what's the current plan?
It's a software as a service, so there will be a monthly fee for using our software.
Okay.
And I just, when you're saying optimizing, and there's a lot of cost into to crewing, I would like to say that, I mean, we are not here to reduce cost only. I mean, that could be a part of it, but the reason why we want to do this also is to have some more transparency in career planning. We want to have transparency in the seafarers' everyday life, so they can start see, okay, when am I planned for the next assignment? When can I expect to be back? Who is relieving me, etc., etc., etc. So I think, or it is definitely also a welfare approach that we are having. So I think that's extremely important to emphasize, because as I mentioned in the very beginning, you have extremely heated market for officers and seafarers in general, and you actually want to retain them in the company. You want to be a good employer. And if you're not able to give them some your employees some transparency in their jobs, then they will disappear, then they will leave. So I mean, the welfare aspect in this is extremely important. But when we are talking optimization, the first thing people are thinking about is of course the financial aspects of it. But I think, there's so many other aspects in doing this optimization.
Yeah, I can see that, because actually, we as Fairbal, we also help a company in recruitment in IT, and there was one part which was really getting the right profiles in terms of tech skill, but then there's another aspect which is the soft skills and what actually people want to do. So, and because the market has turned around, it's the employees who kind of have more opportunities. And I can imagine in shipping, which is not an easy life. Not everyone wants to be, on in sea and not see their family during a couple of months. That it's becoming more and more challenging, and things like COVID maybe did not help as well the industry. Which I mean, we've seen that in the IT space, that people, they can do a job from their home. They want to do what they like to do most. So that's, I suppose you can see the same similar trends in shipping.
Yeah.
So I have a last question, which is maybe a bit, maybe there'll be a long answer or whatever, but the last question is just looking forward in the future in twofold. The first one is, what's going to be the future in terms of how do you see the evolution of Konsius planning platform? And the second aspect is, because it's Ferval, we have the two angle is, how do you plan to finance that evolution? Are you bringing people on the capital, or are you, raising funds, things like that, which of course you can disclose, otherwise,
Um, yeah. First of all, I mean, regarding the vision for the company, I mean, first of all, is to go out in the world and tell them that we have developed this piece of software, the Crew Planner. We will start doing that now. We have been hiding a bit because we wanted to have something mature before going to market. We are almost there yet now. So getting the Crew Planner up and running. Hopefully get a lot of clients. Also want to of course improve the crew planner. We have a lot of good features that we would like to add to what we have right now. But then also see how this technology or methodology that we are using here in the crew planner can be used in other parts of the shipping value chain. So that is also something that we already now are looking into and discussing some pilot projects with some potential clients. So I think that I'm very excited about the future. I think it looks bright. Also see the shipping industry becoming a bit more mature when it comes to adapting new technologies. The industry is in my eyes very, very traditional and is a slow adapter compared to other industries. But what I see now is slowly getting their eyes open for what is happening out in the world and not only in the shipping industry.
Yeah.
Regarding the financial part of it, I mean it's not a secret that developing software is extremely expensive, and it takes a lot of time before you start getting revenue and profit. But I mean, in our case, we have a good setup with various partners. So we are in a good place, and everything is going as according to the plans. So I'm very happy. I'm proud that we are in a good place. Yeah.
Congratulations. I think it's you seem to have a exciting journey ahead, and I would be thrilled that we have the opportunity to exchange in the future and how this goes on your side.
Yes.
Great.
Thank you, both of you, for this insightful episode. So this episode will be on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, on YouTube. I wish you all a very pleasant day, and I wish you all the best. Thank you. Thank you for listening and watching this episode. We are looking forward to bring you more inspiring stories from maritime professionals, experts, and students. Do not hesitate to leave a review on Apple Podcasts and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Your support means a lot to us, and it greatly helps in our continuous growth. We're committed to bringing you more exciting episodes with passionate guests.